We haven't given Patch a full haircut in months. We've just been trimming the sides, and now that it's back to school time, we decided that we needed to trim everything. Plus, he's got this one section of hair right here that just flops. So I'm gonna take, see how that just like flops like that? So I'm going to take this part a little bit shorter and then show you how to do a really cool fade up into a Eurohawk. Do you wanna keep your mullet? Okay, we're gonna keep his mullet, but we're going to shorten up everything so it doesn't stick up, and then when he styles it, it actually stays. So we're gonna start with the sides first with a 1 guard. I'm going to put the lever down so it's extending the blade, so it's basically a 1.5. And I'm just going to start right here, following this line that I've already got. See how it's just kind of like a diagonal from his temple down to the back of his head? And I'm even going to turn my clippers, instead of going straight up like this, I'm even going to turn my clippers to help me keep that angle going. If you use a really short guard with your clippers, you really need to make sure that this clipper is flush to their head like that. If you're putting it like that, first of all, that's going to hurt them. If you're putting it like this, you're not going to get an even haircut. If anyone's ever given a haircut and they're like, there's like some weird lines, most times it's because you don't put your clippers super flush on their head. Don't be afraid to put your left hand on the top and kind of push with the clippers to their head. You don't have to push hard, but you want to put a little bit of pressure. Okay, now I'm going to put my lever up so it makes it a solid one, and I'm just going to come up just a little bit. See how I'm putting my clippers multiple ways? You don't always have to keep them straight up and down. You can turn them this way to get around the ear easier. If that ear's in the way, remember that these things move, so you can bend that around. So I'm actually going to take the 1 guard off and put my lever down so it extends the blade, so I'm basically at a 0.5. Now on this, sometimes it can grab the skin, so make sure that skin stays tight. Sometimes it hurts if I'm not careful. How about? Yeah. And I'm just going to, you can see I'm just going to stay with this angle. You can see how this angle is there. We haven't really blended it. We're going to do that after we do the top, but we're just going to repeat the same thing with the clippers on the other side, starting with a 1.5. Okay, so now we've done both sides with the clipper. Like I said, we're going to blend after we do the top. So now we're going to just get the top super wet. Remember, you want the hair really wet when you're cutting it because you have more control, and your scissors will actually cut it better when it's wet. We've been cutting his hair at this angle because I wanted the illusion of like the longer top, but it's not really working with the style, and we're kind of over it. So we're going to do like a brush up part Eurohawk. We're going to combine a few different haircuts right now. I'm also going to do angle cut with his hair. So right here, I'm going to create my guide and then turn my scissors at an angle and make little V's. So do this all the way back, so match what you have cut, which is right there, with what you haven't cut. You can see that our guide is all the same length, but it's also textured on the top. So I'm going to comb this over to one side. Now this is the side that I've been cutting longer, remember, because we wanted the illusion. We're going to cut it all the same. When you're cutting hair, you only really want to use from your first knuckle to the end of your finger because that's where you can hold the hair tight. So if you're grabbing hair all at one time, see this hair right here, it kind of like falls through your fingers and you're going to get an uneven haircut. You want to cut this first section first and then comb it again and cut this section to make sure that the very edges are still getting an even cut. Okay, so I've done this whole section, but since he has a Eurohawk, I'm not actually going to pivot around until I do the whole back. So I'm going to comb this guide over to the other side, and we're going to match all of this hair to the guide that I created. Now we're going to work on this Eurohawk part. So basically just like we did on the top, we're going to also create a guide right down the back middle. I'm going to comb a 1/2 inch down the back. Now, We want to keep this part a little bit longer because it's starting to flip up and it's actually so cute. So I'm going to cut it kind of at this angle. So a lot of times you can cut at this angle, you can go shorter, you can go longer, you can go at this length, pull it out and cut it to the length you want. So now once you've done that first cut, now you're going to match this whole guide right down the middle of the back of his head. You're going to match that. See, that's where I've cut right there. And I'm just going to gradually get longer. So you can see that my angle is starting. You can also put their head down so you don't have to like contort your whole body. They're okay to bend their head to get it in the right position. Also, what I'm basically doing is creating layers in the back, which will help it flip even more. Now that this middle section is my guide, now I'm just going to use it on either side. Take some hair that I have, cut some that I haven't, and just match that all together. Taken this guide and I've gone around both sides, but now on the back, I also want to start blending this in. Remember how we just did the clippers and we didn't blend? So now I'm going to take little sections and match this clipper part into this side part of the hair. So if you can see, it's like that line right there, and there's just a little bit to take off. And I want to go straight up and basically go straight up from those two guides on this diagonal of the Eurohawk. So you can see how this is kind of an advanced blending, but you guys are so smart because you know that a haircut is all about connecting the dots. So it does not need to be that hard because all you're doing is connecting the dots. We're gonna do the same thing on this side. We're going to take little sections. We're going to go up from the clipper, which is right there, up to that side. See how there's that long piece right there? That's what's going to cause like a hangover shelf thing with the hair that we don't want. Okay, let's work on the bangs. Now, not all the time does Pat style his hair. I would say majority of the time, but I still want him to look decent if he doesn't style his hair. So we are going to pull the bangs down, and I'm going to cut them at a little bit of an, oh, dude, you just raised your eyebrows. Don't let them raise their eyebrows because it messed up my line. Okay, don't raise your eyebrows.
The one down?
I cut all your bangs off. The reason we do this is we want to basically layer the bangs so when they style, it's easier and quicker and it just looks better. So we're going to take this bottom length, which is right there. That's going to be our first guide. Now the other guide is going to be where we created our mohawk guide, right there. And we need to connect those dots. So you want to go all along the hairline with this unicorn horn angle. And the reason I call it unicorn horn angle is because you want to come out the angle that a unicorn horn would come out. If anyone didn't get that. I grab my clippers, make sure those blades are close together, and I'm just going to double check there's not any blending that I need done right here on this ridge. Just gonna go up and basically go straight up until the hair is gone. And once the hair is gone, then you stop blending at that point because everything else is just going to be styled. Remember that you can bend their head so you don't have to contort your body. Point of the haircut, I'm just going to double check my work, kind of like fill it with your hands, make sure that like it's going to look how you want it when you style. I still want a little bit shorter right there. This haircut, more than any of them, you're gonna wanna bust out your texturing shears and take it right along this ridge because even though we've blended it, there's still a little bit of a line. Put your comb in, put the teeth down over your comb and do a little snip all the way down on that ridge. This will just perfect your blend, make it look a little bit better, and come around here on this side also. All we have left is the outline of the hair. You want to put a straight line right in front of the ear, pull this ear out of the way, You can set those trimmers right on their skin. Bend the ear forward, connect that dot. Now I'm gonna show you what we're going to do with the back of his hair. So put his head down. We're going to make this into a V neckline. So you can see that how it's already there. So I get the hair wet, comb it down. Now when I take these trimmers, I'm going to go from the ear where I stopped, and I'm just going to create that V line all the way down. You want to create that line that you can turn them over, and that's when you get the neck hair. And then turn it over and rest this on their skin. Tighten up that skin. There you go. And the haircut is finished. Patch, you're actually going to love it. Let me see it. Hey, the haircut is finished. It looks so cool. Patch, you're gonna love it a little bit shorter. It's gonna look super cool. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you try this out. Let me know how it goes.